We are in the month of Nissan, and the question is, why is the month called Nissan? Why don't you just call it NISSIM? Call it miracles. B'Nissan nigalu, b'Nissan atidim nigael. In Nissan, they were redeemed, and in Nissan, they are going to be redeemed. It's a month of miracles. So the Torah tells us in Shemot, Perek Kaf Gimel, Pasuk Hey, Ki tir'eh chamor son'acha rovetz tachat masa'o v'chadalta me'azov lo, azov ta'azov imo. So the Torah tells us that if you see the donkey of your enemy, and it goes into a description as, what do you mean enemy? I thought you're not supposed to have enemies. So it discusses what that means, what that person might have done, that classified him in that way. Okay, so the person sees this chamor son'acha rovetz tachat masa'o. The donkey's having a difficult time with its what's on its saddle, what's on its back, the weight, and so b'chadata me'azov lo, azov ta'azov imo. And you see that the donkey needs to be unloaded, and that's your enemy. You don't really want to sit there and help him. Go and help him. There's a lot of reasons the Torah tells us to do it. Break your that negative energy, that spirit. Go help someone that didn't do you good. And further, the pshat also is that you have two people that need an issue. What did the hamor do to you? The hamor is filled with tons of weight, and it's having a difficulty. It's slipping, it's falling. Go help the hamor, leave the enemy. And the son'acha, you have to help him for another reason. But Hazit, you had two people here, two individuals, so help the hamor too. But the Gemara, if you look in Baba Mitziah Lamed Gimel, Amud Aleph, just right on the top of the page, the Gemara tells us that the Torah tells us if the hamor is rovetz tachat matzao, rovetz resh bet tzadi, rovetz velo ravsan. So if it says he has to be a rovetz, what does that mean? And not ravsan. What's the difference between the two? So we'll learn a little deep duk. A rovetz is a hamor that he's got a load on his back, on his saddle, and he's having a difficulty, but it never really happens to this hamor. It's happened one time. You see, he's having a difficulty. What's a ravsan? Ravsan, Rashi tells us ra'uri bekach, that this hamor, no matter what, this hamor always is having a difficult time with his loads. It's like the pickup truck with always has a flat tire. The Torah one's telling you it's rovetz tahat masao. If you see an enemy that one time this happened, fine. If this happens and then after 10 minutes the enemy is having it again, the same issue with the hamor. The Torah wasn't telling you to randomly go out to a hamor that you know is a ravsan, that constantly is slipping, is falling. That wasn't your duty. Your duty was that when it happens one time in a random case to son'acha. Okay, so the hamor has to be rovetz, not ravsan. Let's take a look. In Hebrew, there's a word shoked. It says shoked al daltota yom yom, that a person comes to my home, to the door day after day. A person goes to the shul day after day to pray. So shoked is someone that does something constantly, or we would call him a shakdan if he's doing it consistently. A person learns 12 hours a day, he's what's called a shakdan. If he learns 12 hours on one day and then the next day 5 minutes, he's shoked. He's not shakdan. Shakdan would be a considerable effort, but consistently, the hatmada, day in, day out, rain, sunshine, no matter what, he's always doing it. He's shakdan, not a shoked. So a shakdan is someone who would learn consistently, always. Maybe that's why on Tishrei, we call God not a mochel v'soleach, we call him mohalan v'solhan le'Yisrael, l'shiftei Yeshurun. Why is mohalan v'solhan l'shiftei Yeshurun? What is that? So we don't tell God you're a mochel v'soleach, because that means it could be like a rovetz, like a shoked. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. We tell him no. We tell him you're mohalan v'solhan. It's always like the ravsan, like the shakdan. Always, no matter what, we come to you, you're always forgiving. You're mohalan v'solhan. So you see, from adding the nun sofit, it changes the word to be a consistency, and so that's why when the Hachamim instituted the month, they instituted the month of NISSAN, not NISSIM. Not miracles. Miracles would have been past. It was a story. No, it's Nissan. Ben Nissan nigalu ubun Nissan atidim nigael. And it doesn't just mean in the realm of the final redemption. It means that there's always going to be redemptions in the month of Nissan. And just today, I was shown a video from SY Alerts, how Eli Gindi, a few of the guys, another guy from the Ash family, were on a plane. The plane seemingly crashed. It was trying to land had an issue in Nissan, and miracle of miracles, they were able to get the plane down. They were all out, no issues, no one got hurt. Baruch Hashem. I'm sure this is going to be a mental anguish from this, but physically, Baruch Hashem, they were saved. And this is, I think, when you kind of see this, and I just picked up on this Hidush of the Nissan, that it's called Nissan and not NISSIM because of the consistency of the miracles. I think this is a key, and when you're kind of seeing it with your own eyes, it's a tremendous value. And don't underestimate it. Time and time again, we've seen that in the month of Nissan we have these miracles. And so you see from here that when the Hachamim named it Nissan, they were saying much, much more than just NISSIM. As a side point, where did the months even come from? So the months that we have are not Jewish named months. They're actually Persian, or today Iranian. But we have the months like the Persian. And I did some research onto it. They still actually use a lot of the months that we use. Like they still use Tammuz, Adar, Nisan. Even in the Zoroastrian calendars that they have, in the Persian calendars, you'll see they still use the months. What seemingly happened is that when we were in the Galut of Bavel, and then later on in Paras and Madai, those were the months they used. And when Israel went back, he seemingly used them, because if you look in the Torah says Chodesh HaRishon, Chodesh HaSheni, Chodesh HaShvi'i. It just lists the numbers of the months along with the days. Here, we actually are using the name of the months, and the months are the Persian months. And I think this goes into a depth into the argument of what the Gemara was saying, that at the end of time there's going to be a war between Paras and Edom. Would be today Persia or Iran, and Edom, which is the Western civilization, probably at the helm, the U.S., United States, and the Western countries, and that's going to be the final war. What does that mean? So the Mefarshim bring down that there's going to actually be a physical war and who will win, and it's a whole discussion there. But I think we could take this from a different, from maybe looking at it from a different way, is at the end of time, we're going to be using the calendars of the Hazal, which come from Paras, and there's also going to be the calendar of the Western countries. And people are going to be on two different sides. You can have the guys who they use only the Hebrew calendar, they use the thing, and it's the war of the calendars. It's the war of the time. And time is life. Life is days. Abraham Zaken, Ba Bayamim, he came with the days. And I think at the end of time, the war will be the war of which calendar is the calendar that we use. And I see today that, especially in the Orthodox world, a lot of people today are using the Hebrew calendar. Even when they have to use an English date, they'll put the Hebrew date right on it. Who cares? Just put it right on top. Just like they put, 1/2, 2025. Okay, so put the date also. Put the 1/1, 575 or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think that it shows a big kedusha on the documents. And this is what Rav Shirky brought down in Israel, that at the end of time also, another Gemara bring down that all the 70 Ummot HaOlam are going to come to Yerushalayim. There's going to be a bin Mehama, a big war in Yerushalayim. What does that mean? There's going to be a war of 70 nations? What does 70 nations have to do in Israel? What do they do in Jerusalem? What is there? There's no natural resources. What are they getting? There's no rare earth minerals or metals or anything. There's no oil. There's no what are you going to build in Jerusalem? What do you want? What is there? And you think these stuff what's the big issue? It's just an old city, and it's But we understand that there's it's the home of where God was, and his home was. But he says, the end of time, all the 70 ummot are going to come together and fight each other in Yerushalayim. What that means is that all the ummot ha'olam are going to have Jews that are going to come from all over. We're going to all finally go to Israel, and we're all going to be in Yerushalayim. And we're going to have American Jews and Great British, English, Scottish Jews, the Irish Jews. You're going to have the South African, the Argentinian, the Mexican, the Chinese Jews, the Japanese, the Korean Jews. They're going to come from all over, and they are all going to talk their tongue. And they're all going to say that it was their customs and their tongue that brought them here. And there's going to be 70 umot, 70 languages challenging each other as to why the Geula came. All the language. At the end of the day, it's going to be Lashon HaKodesh. It's going to be the from Eliyahu and Navi Zechulatov, his final word. But it'll be all the 70 umot ha'olam saying, no, it's me. The Geula is from me, and that will be the final word. It won't be a physical war. And I think if we take these ideas, we won't get so carried away with some of the fears that they say for the end of times. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, amen. Amen.